FightStylez is here at the Undisputed Boxing Gym in San Carlos with MMA and UFC veteran Eugene "The Wolf" Jackson. How you doing today, Eugene?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for giving us the time today. We're just going to ask a lot about what you have going on here in your program and just whatever you have to offer us in terms of information. We'd love to hear it. So first off, why don't you tell us about your affiliation or relationship with Undisputed Boxing Gym and how that came to be?
Okay, that came to be as years ago. When I was still fighting the UFC, I owned a gym called Gladiators Training Academy. Brian Schwartz used to come over there and do his boxing with Eddie Croft and everybody else. So that's how we all got to know each other. Mike Basil used to teach conditioning classes over there. So then when the UFC thing was over and I moved on, they came and opened their own place. So they invited us in, and with our kids, we came with a nonprofit, and they brought our kids in and started working with them. So it's been a beautiful relationship. The origins of the team was my kids. My youngest son actually wanted to get out of football and get into fighting. And then my oldest son he just ended up going to college to football and decided he didn't want to play football anymore. So, and that's all they've ever done their whole life is football. So it's like, okay, you know, so they never did the wrestling, they never really did the jiu-jitsu. So it's like starting over from scratch. When that came, a lot of their friends fell in love with it, so we really started working with it. Then somebody got on me about working with the inner city kids. Like, Gene, why aren't you helping anybody from your city? There's not a whole lot of people who are, you know, famous in any type of way out of the city. Why don't you help bring that back? And it caught on like wildfire, so it's working really well. We know in the fight game, like if you go to any gym, almost every fighter in everybody's gym, I don't care whether it's AKA, I don't care whether it's Charles Gracie, I don't care if it's Fairtex, anybody who's a real fighter are the brokest of the broke. They don't have anything. So if this is a dream you want to commit, I want to give you something that wasn't given to me. I had to go work all day and then try to make it to the gym. I want to give them a chance. So here, I'm your scholarship fund. Now do something with it. Don't sit back and say, oh man, if I was rich, my dad was rich, or you know, if I had a different, well, here it is. Now you don't say it no more, here it is. Now you're gonna do something with it. No person you can blame at the end of the day is you. If you don't get up and train, if you're not eating right, if you're not taking what these coaches are giving you, now it's your fault. You can't blame the world no more. You can't say, but if this or if that. No, we took the if out. Now what are you gonna do with it? Because I had a predatory style. So I was the kind of guy, and I stalked you. And everybody said when I started getting in a certain way, I looked like a wolf about to pounce on something. So a few people said it, and there was a few. They used to call me Action Jack. They used to just jump a bunch. And somebody just said, you look like a wolf. And somebody took a picture once, and I was like this. And it was like, see, you look like a wolf. So it just ended up sticking. So. And then I'd like to take it a little bit further and say, because I do engulf everybody like family, how wolves are the one pack that goes over there, and you can have the mother die, and the mother from another pack will help raise them cubs. And so it actually became fitting later, because when I started helping raise other people's cubs, it's actually really worked. I used to want rematches. I used to want to fight rematches. And what mentally got me out of that was like, you know what? It's like I explained to the kids. I said, you could be the best guy in the gym. You could be the best guy in the tournament. But when you go into that fight, you could be 10 times better than that guy. One mistake, you get one chance. And that guy gets that notch on his belt. And he doesn't ever have to give it back to you unless he makes enough falls to where he has to come back through your route. So I used to really want, like I wanted Jeremy Horn really bad again, and I wanted Wanderlei Silva really bad again, because Wanderlei Silva, that definitely wasn't me, and I'd like to fight him in the States, you know. So those are two that I really wanted. And then I kind of got away from it. It's like, it's actually fun getting to eat what I want to eat. It's actually fun where I'm not so beat up and I'm asleep in my car because I'm too tired to drive home. So it's kind of nice being on this side of it now. Flashy and exciting. So if it's gonna be jiu-jitsu, you gotta snatch that move. You got to make it look deadly. If it's striking, you got to pop, pop, pop. It's gotta be the pop like you see from a Mayweather or a Pacquiao. It has to be that exciting, that movement. It's got to be your verbal skills. You got to be flat. You got to be very flamboyant without being over cocky. It also has to do with marketing. It's like, get on that Facebook, get on that Twitter, get out there and let everybody know who you are. Be very personable at the same time. When you go into a fight, make it exciting, because it's not the best fighters now. If you notice, it's the most marketable fighters. So you'll get guys that have lost one fight and kicked out of the UFC because they weren't marketable, and you have guys that have lost multiple fights and they stay because they sell tickets. So it's all about marketing at the end of the day. So they started with gi in the beginning. And a lot of them wanted to be MMA fighters. So we were doing gi, we were running around doing gi tournaments, winning. It was like, no, this is fun, okay, it's kind of cool. I never really did gi. So it was good, and they're out there doing really well. Then there was a no gi tournament popped up. We were like, hey, let's try it. We're doing okay. And they got worked. And I was like, uh-oh, we're gonna have to fix some things. So then we took the gi off, and we really got a lot more work with no gi. And then they started growing, and then everything got really big. So then the cage fighting came about, and all of a sudden, it's full circle now. In the beginning, I wanted to go back. 6, 7 months ago, yeah, I'm beating up one of the kids. They're young, I'm feeling good, and then they get a little better, and I get caught in this stupid move. I'm like, whoa, now I'm rolling around there, I get caught in that stupid move. And all of a sudden, I'm not getting caught in stupid moves anymore. Now they're catching me. You know, I mean, like, I'm really trying to do something, and they're actually coming up with moves. I'm like, this is beautiful. So it's like, now I'm saying, like, hey, there's guys who've been doing this for 10 years now and steadily doing this. That new crop is there, so I've kind of found my place at resting, you know, behind the scenes and trying to manipulate them into little areas, so it's actually mentally better for me. With the inner city kids, that's where I grew up. So I knew them all. And with saying East Palo Alto on the UFC screen, on the video games, it was something they could hold on to and say, this is ours. And I was kind of in a bad way, because I was outside in San Jose, out in San Carlos, Redwood City, and running with those areas instead of fixing my own. And I was watching like my son's friends get killed and stuff like that. So then it's like, man, I need to really do something about grabbing these kids. Man, I love these kids. I'm crying at the funerals because I was that close to them. I mean, I bought them food. They spent it in my house. I mean, for years. I'm not talking about just for a year or two. I'm talking about for like 10 or 15 years. And you watch these kids go to prison. You watch them get shot. You're watching them die. And it made me say, man, I got to do something. If inner city kids are looking for strength, they like the gangbangers because I'm tough if I'm with them. They like selling the dope because they make a little money and everybody wants to idolize them. Well, we got something that you can be tough in and you can make money in. So you can get all those things without dying, and you can grab yours and bring them there. And I think the most beautiful thing about MMA is I don't care if you're the brokest of the broke or you're the richest of the rich. It brings you together as the common denominator, and those guys become really close because they sweat together, they struggle together, they support each other. And it's such a beautiful world that now all of a sudden these kids got kids that grew up affluent that's loving them. And then these other kids aren't looking at that's them and this is us. Now, hey, that's my folks right there, that's my team. And they love each other, and it just actually worked out really nice. I work during the day, so I do bank foreclosures. So the bank calls me out, and we're a person to come out, we do the evictions, or we do the lock changing on the houses, and then we clear the houses out. So a lot of the kids will come out and help me. You know, so like there's a big trash out because the house is like really nasty and tore up, we do that. So that's what I do. That's how I'm able to fund everybody. You know, that's how I get them into other gyms. That's how I do all the stuff that works with that. It's like I try to tell the people on the other side of the bridge from East Palo Alto to Palo Alto. I get the kids that are on the fence. I get the ones that their brother's a shooter, he's in prison. The only thing they got are these gang guys, whether it's in San Jose, whether it's in East Palo Alto, whether it's in Oakland. That's who they look up to. I'm the one that's gonna, that one kid might be the one who's breaking into your house, that kid that might be robbing you, the one that might be shooting you. I'm stopping that. I'm trying to stop that now. So when he becomes a fan of him, they come that way, and we keep dragging them that way. And unlike football, where you go, when you're young, you go put a couple hours in a day, we take all their time. So once you're out of school, you're with us all day. Us all day. So you have no time to get in trouble. And then you get all these other people that you thought would never like you are now your friends. And that's why we like places like Undisputed. You got, in any given day, you have 300 or 400 different people that come in that are from this side of the tracks, the good side. And they get to meet these kids, and all of a sudden these kids fall in love, and they start like, wow, I thought these people used to look at me funny, or they used to treat me a certain way. These people were inviting me out to their house and having me do a security job. And all of a sudden these kids get that love, and they're like, wow, okay, it ain't bad. It ain't really you and us. So I would tell all sponsors, if you can help sponsor a fighter, help them get through their terms. We have IC3 out of San Jose help sponsor Tina. You know, trying to get somebody for Roscoe and everybody like that. Because tournaments are $75, $50. The food is crazy. You know, just their clothing that they need so that they don't get staph infection and all that. The different chemicals we buy for them to take showers with, so if they did get anything, they get cleaned up. Just the doctor's appointments, we got to do all these physicals, all these different things. Then they get injuries, you know. So it's like you're helping sponsor somebody for a dream, and then at the same time, you're also helping sponsor somebody that could have went a bad route. And like I said, when you look at Richmond, when you look at East Palo Alto, I mean, 3 murders in 1 week, you know, in 5 weeks, I mean, in 3 weeks, you have 7 murders, one including a little bitty kid. You know, and we're not talking about the shootings. We're not talking about the other 10 shootings that happened that night. We're talking about the one that actually hit. When you're looking at Richmond, California, you have 3 shootings in 2 nights. You know, it's like, come on. I mean, let's grab them kids because they don't have anything. They're out of school. They're too stupid to get it right. Their family aren't helping. So they need somebody that's going to give them hard love. Shake them up a little bit. Bring them here. And they get their little attitude. Put your little butt back in here. And then they respect us because we are the fighters. So they look at that toughness and they get on the mat. And I always bring Casey. Casey's the little one. I get these big old knuckleheads from East Palo Alto. You know, 200 pounds, 220. And Casey shakes them. He outboxes them. He out everything on the ground. Chokes them out. Then they sit here and now you see this macho guy come humble. So now they want to be here and they want to start getting it. And then all of a sudden they're no longer hanging out in those areas. There's only one criteria that I do. And I don't allow any shooters. So if you shot somebody, I don't allow you here. Just on the fact that I have to worry about not only the 12 that live with me, but the other 30 that's with me. So if you shot somebody and somebody wants to come back and get you, I'm sorry that you just went too far over the fence for me, and I just can't play with nobody else's life. So that's the only thing I'm caused about. If you were a drug dealer, we can fix that. If you got in fights, we can fix that. You know, if you were a gangbanger and you believe, we can fix that. But if you took a life or you hurt somebody really bad with a gun and somebody wants you, I just can't work with that. Now you got to move to another neighborhood and I can try to hook you with somebody, but here I'm afraid of the lives. I can't try to save lives and endanger them at the same time. So that's the one piece that I'm real cautious with. And then I try to work with the East Palo Alto, try to tell them, every program you got, you putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into. And you say, well, it's helping the education, these kids' education. And I agree, education is key. But at the same time, how many gunners or drug dealers do you know that want to go to college track or anything like that are going to show up? They're not. You have to find a common denominator, strength, something that they're looking for. Once we get them and we start showing them a certain way, then they want to go that way. Like all the kids with me now are all trying to go to Foothill and Kenyatta. You know, they're all trying to get into DeAnza. So all of them are trying to get in school, what they weren't trying to do before. And so that's the mindset. But if I go to say, oh, you need an education, miss me, dude, education ain't paying me right now. You know, so I need to get that. Well, if I fight, I can get some money. Well, then the fighting shows that hard work and that commitment. Back in the school, hard work and commitment, they see all the payoffs, then it works.